Da, 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 da.
Uh,
I love that. Hi, and welcome to Prayers Radio. This is show number 18. Paul, do you believe it?
18. That's amazing.
Oh my God. And we have another fantastic guest. Paul, would you like to do the introduction?
Yes, we are honored to have Reverend Patty Paris with us from Vision CSL Vision in San Diego. She was my practitioner training for 2 years. We sat on the computer 3 hours every Friday, and here she is now.
Oh my God. Oh, we forgot our introductions. We got Patty. That's her.
Thank you.
And then we have, I'm Reverend Rich.
And
Prayers
I'm Reverend
Radio.
Paul.
And we are Prayers Radio. And this show is directly about Science of Mind prayer. Ernest Holmes' Science of Mind prayer, to be exact, because, the people say, well, science and blah. No, Ernest Holmes. Oh.
And Reverend Patty taught me everything I know about prayer.
And that is, we're going to find out today.
Yes, what it is.
Reverend Patty, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Or you want to pray us in first, Rich?
Go ahead. Let's do that.
The power of prayer, yes.
Power prayer. I got the power. Okay,
Okay,
go for it.
3 reverends here. Who's doing this?
Could you do it, Reverend Patty?
Very good.
Thank you.
What I know is that spirit is everything, everywhere, always. I know that there is no place that is absent of spirit. I know that there's really nothing happening here this morning but the activity of spirit through and as and in and around and just as us. I know that there is only God, there is only good, and I know that this radio show is absolutely amazing. I know that whatever needs to be said is said, and whatever needs to be heard is heard, and I just let spirit run wild and free through this session, knowing that it is all good, and so it is.
So it is. One of the things that we talk about, Paul and I talked about on one of the shows, we said, well, we're going to have reverends on. He's like, we're like, no, don't give a reverend a mic because they'll talk and talk.
Right.
So we got the hook.
Good deal.
We have some good stuff here. So this is something very special for us because Paul has spoken so highly about you. And I'm like, tell me more.
Thank you.
I'm going to let Paul lead this discussion a little bit more today than I normally do. Of course, I'll add my little bit of flair in just because that's what we do at Prayers Radio is we love prayer. All right, Paul, you got the first question.
Yes, I met Reverend Patty through podcasts. Her center was on YouTube or on iTunes.
Yeah.
And I just fell in love with her message, what she was doing, how she was doing it. And then when it came practitioner time, I asked Reverend Patty if she could be my teacher. And like a good spiritual teacher, she said no 3 times. And then on the 3rd time, it was a yes.
Yes. Yes.
So Reverend Patty, for prayer, for spiritual mind treatment, what have you seen tangible results with for yourself and for your vision?
There's always tangible results. I have to say prayer always works. Sometimes they're not the results that you would imagine they would be, but prayer always works. I mean, there's lots of practical demonstrations in my life where, I prayed, and then something happens. There's a shift in the physical condition, right? There's a shift at the physical level, and you're like, there you go, aha, ta-da, it works. But it always works. Sometimes it's very subtle.
Very subtle. And how do you begin your day?
Wait, what?
Oh,
what do you mean by subtle? Is it just bam? Hello.
Oh, I love those water to wine moments, right? Don't you have those water to wine moments? Like, man, you speak your word and boom, it happens. The parking space or whatever,
Yeah.
Whatever it is. It's like amazing. My girlfriend and I wanted to go skiing. This is a couple of years ago, and we were like, yeah, and how much is the lift ticket now? And she said, oh, they're about $110. And I went, what? That's just like, okay, that's out of my budget, And so you go to prayer. You just go to prayer. It's like, oh, this works out. It works out because God, the universe always says yes. And my husband came home from work that night and he said, do you know anybody that skis? I won these 2 lift tickets.
Wow.
and I could have written things down 100, like for 100 years, how it would work out.
Mm.
That would have never been it. I could have
Wow.
never imagined that way, right? That's God.
Yeah, Holmes always says, was it Thoreau that said, let go of it and get your bloody hands off of it, just
Stay
quit
out of
messing
it
with it.
now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
get off the how.
that's it. That's all I said. I just love that. All right, Paul, go ahead and ask your question. I just had to get that in there because I'm like,
Oh, that's okay.
bam. You know?
So it's evident that when you have a challenge that we go into prayer. That's what we learned in practitioner training. So for you, what does that look like if you have a challenging day? How would that prayer kind of come out for you?
My practitioner teacher 100 years ago had said to me, anything that takes you out of the holy instant is worthy of prayer.
Mm,
And that's what I
it.
do. That's it. Anything that takes you out of the holy instant is worthy of prayer. So you're driving on the freeway or the milk sour or whatever it is, it's worthy of prayer. It's just to keep the connection going in our own minds, right? It does nothing to
Mm.
God. God's always there. Spirit is always forever surrounding us and holding us and supporting us and within us. But it's to keep our minds going back to, oh yeah, right, my connection.
Mm. Does that connection is always something that you feel that you have in you? I mean, one of the questions we have is, what results have you seen from prayer? And you already talked about the lift tickets and stuff.
Yeah, right. Silly.
Yeah, well, that's great. I mean, oh yeah. Go tomorrow. We're gone. But how do you? How do you see this in your day to day life? I mean, is it just you wake up in the morning and you go, "I'm here, God," or do you say, "I command that this is going to happen today"? And
Abracadabra.
abracadabra. There you. Oh, I like that. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I wake up in the morning and the first thing I do is I pray my body in,
Mm.
because I keep my personal philosophy, right? I don't know that this is science of mine exactly, but my personal philosophy is if I praise and raise my body, then I'm using spirit as my steering wheel and not as my spare tire. People usually go to prayer when something goes wrong. You get a bad test, you get a bad result from a physical, you get a bad something like, oh my God, now I got to go to prayer. Quick, fix this thing. Would you, God? So instead of that, in the morning, I wake up and I praise my toes. And, your toes are great. Toes keep you from falling over, right? If it weren't for your toes, you'd be falling on your face all the time. You praise your toes. You start from there. Go all the way up my body. Praise the internal organs. Be grateful. My liver works and I don't even have to think about it. All of these things. I go from my toes all the way up to my scalp. And just thank you for doing your job. Thank you for being, so healthy and so strong and so vibrant. And I just feel that you grateful for everything working right, everything continues to work right.
Oh, I like that. That's the not the preventative, but the actual raising and praising yourself to actually motivate the universe to give you that
More of
greater
that.
benefit, more of the good stuff.
More please.
Yeah. Would you like fries with that, Cole?
Exactly. Yeah.
So
So the strength and health and digestion and all of that stuff, just to acknowledge it, just to be grateful for it, just to
Mhm.
know and rely and depend on, body continue to do your stuff. This is great.
What do you think, Paul?
I think it's great. And Reverend Patty, can you share the story when you found out you had high blood pressure?
Oh yeah.
Share
My
that story.
doctors love me. I had high blood pressure. It was my cholesterol level.
Oh, cholesterol,
And
yes.
I'm usually like a 150, something like that. Normal range. This was when I was first starting vision. And one of the regular routine blood tests, it was 498.
Whoa.
And I went, wow, that's a personal best. And the doctor was not happy with me at all. And she right away gets the prescription pad out. And I said, no, don't. I'm not going to take pills. So don't even bother prescribing them. But I will increase my meditation. And I'll get back to you. And she said, how long are you going to do this? And I said, well, I'll double the meditation. I'll get back to you in 6 months. I'll give me 6 months. And I came back. I said, where do you want it? She said, I want it under 200. I said, okay. So I came back in 6 months and we had the blood test and it was 198.
Perfect.
And she said, I still want you on medication. And I said, no, that just does not work for me. And okay, I'll give you another month and I'll come back. And I came back 30 days later and it was 152. So she was like, I don't believe you, but okay.
The power of prayer right there.
Yeah, just for our YouTube folks, again, your stuff may vary, so check with your doctor on this.
Absolutely, you absolutely do.
Yep. And we do believe in the pills and things like that inside of science.
Ernest Holmes said, "If you can't believe in the miracle, believe in the medicine."
There you go. That's I was going to say. Oh, psychic! I like that.
One mind, baby. One mind.
What do you think, Paul? Good stuff.
Good stuff. And has prayer changed over time for you, Reverend Patti?
I think when I first got into a Science of Mind Center, it really was about getting my act together, getting my life together, fixing stuff. And now it's moved from fixing stuff, because God doesn't fix stuff anyway, right? All it does is it reveals truth. It keeps revealing truth. And then I have to fix stuff. But I think it has really moved from there to really prayers of gratitude, prayers of thank you for this unfoldment. Thank you for this, for the way that things are unfolding. Even if they don't look like I want them to look, I know that they're unfolding. I know that they're changing. Everything is changing all the time, right? So I think the prayer is like that whole idea of like, I've got prayers to get stuff, and like a get mentality is not a receptive mentality. So in order to receive, you have to get rid of the get idea. I have to get a new car. I have to get a new job. I have to to be grateful that life is great already. And it seems like things flow. So for me, that's the way prayer has changed. It has moved from, I got to fix this, or I got to get this, or I have to, to thank you, God, thank you, God, thank you, God. And what happens.
I like that.
That reminds me of one of your quotes, the famous quotes from Reverend Patti. She said, miracle is just a course correction in consciousness.
Yeah, it's true.
Wow.
Things we call miracles are just, spirit going, oh yeah, that, oh yeah, that. Thank you.
Wow. I'm getting some nuggets out of this, Paul. How about you?
Oh yeah, that Pat is all about the nuggets.
And it's sauce and all the good stuff that comes with the nuggets, right? Just get the. Go ahead. Oh, anyways, Paul, the next question is, how's prayer changed over time for you? I mean, I look down at my notes because I'm doing like 5 things at once here, but we don't really look at it the real basic where you got. But when did it start? Just where's that aha moment coming on and just realizing that, oh my gosh, this has just changed over time? And you've already mentioned the part where you've got to the point where you're not saying, well, God, please help me where problems are happening. But right. Hey, God, how about giving me a little bit of extra steak tonight with that with those fries?
Abundant flow. That's the phrase I've been using lately in prayer is abundant flow or abundant influx. The idea of abundant flow in all things, right? So if I'm in the river of God's abundance, that means anything, right? The abundant flow of gifts, the abundant flow of friendships, the abundant flow of joy, the abundant flow of money, the abundant flow of free cups of coffee, the abundant flow of whatever it happens to be. And so, yay, I'm so glad. Woo-hoo, coffee drinker. So this is what the prayer has been lately. I have a prayer group every Wednesday morning and we talk about things, we get topics going. And so abundant flow has really been a topic of conversation for the last, several months. And what's happened is all of us have experienced an increase of good in a variety of areas. A free trip, extra money, somebody gave a chunk of change to the center. It was like, oh, you just notice it and you see it all the time because you're in the consciousness of there is abundant flow in and around me all the time, pressing in on me and making itself known through me.
Paul always says you can't, every time you step in the river, it's a new river, right? What was that saying,
Yeah.
Paul?
Or you can't step into the same river twice.
There you go.
Because you're a different person and it's a different river.
Exactly. Go ahead, Paul.
Oh, so Reverend Patti, we know in spiritual mind treatment that everything starts in thought and then feeling. For you, what does that feeling feel like when you're in prayer, when you're in a spiritual mind treatment?
It's a shifting feeling. It almost feels like it goes from theory to fact. There's almost like a clunk, and it's really interesting because Ernest Holmes used these two words almost synonymously, I think, demonstration and manifestation, right? Mm-hmm. He seemed to switch them back and forth. But, when you keep reading it over and over again, I got the feeling that for him, or I should say for me, this is how I interpreted it. The demonstration is in mind. The demonstration happens when it clunks, when I'm in prayer and it goes from, this is a great idea, this is what I'd love to see, this is my desires, to, oh my God, this is happening. That shift, that clunk, for me is the demonstration because it is demonstrated in mind. And then the manifestation shows up when it shows up. The manifestation is in the physical world. It's in the shifting conditions. And so for me, there is just that slight difference in those two words. And sometimes I pick it up through Ernest Holmes' writings, and then sometimes it really seems like he's using it synonymously. But I don't know. I think there might have been that deeper understanding of it. Because for me, it absolutely makes a difference. The demonstration is always in mind. It's like, boom, when I get it, I get it. And then I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to think about it. That's the release, right? So you release it to the action of the law because you absolutely know the law's going to work doing it already.
I think we talked on show, was it 3, where we're saying that we release it into law, and then God always brings us something that we never even know that we wanted. That's a lot better. It's just the good stuff, and it's like, oh, what do you mean I got whipped cream on top of my sundae? This is cool, and a cherry.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And all I wanted was one of those little vanilla cups with the wooden spoon.
That's right. And that happens. Yes. All the time. Have you seen that? Yeah. I mean, wow. What do you think, Paul?
Yeah, I think it's great.
I want some ice cream.
Like right? We always, This or better.
We're always trying to defend our limitations, but in spiritual mind treatment, there are no limitations.
Very true.
Only in your mind. Yeah.
Have you ever worked this with your kids, Reverend Patti? Spiritual mind treatment?
Oh yeah. My children were raised in this teaching, so they don't really think about what they can't have at all. It's just very interesting. When my daughter was applying for college, I remember we talked about, the backup school, the fallback, it's like, if in case you don't get into the school, and she looked at me like I'd lost my mind, It was like, what do you mean I'm not going to get it? Of course I'll get in where I want because that's what I want. And she did. She got into the college of her choice for her undergrad work, for her master's, for the second master's that she did up at USC. She just was like, no, this is, you've always taught me, you put this out there and that's what, okay. Then they do. They manifest their good.
How true is that? That's something that, you talk about that being dropped in front of your lap when people actually start to realize that, or, because it's working through us and for us, and then it goes out to the universe. We've said this more times than I can count, but it's true.
And it's so funny how we're always amazed by it. And yet it always works. And like at some point I keep thinking, it shouldn't be so amazing, but it's always amazing.
Oh, and it's even better than amazing because you get the extra stuff. Right. And you get wow.
Yeah, and feeling that amazingness of it is the gratitude for the prayer.
Right.
If I'm not amazed, I'm doing it wrong. When I'm amazed, I'm doing it. I mean, this is working. That thunk, like that demonstration that you feel when you release a prayer.
I like that, Paul.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's well said.
I had a good teacher.
I would say, and she's here.
And I'm here.
And you're here.
What's your favorite Ernest Holmes book? And don't say The Science of Mind.
The Science of Mind textbook. The Science of Mind textbook. Yeah, it was a good. Someone gave that to me back in New York before I even moved to California, and they just gave me the book and said, "Here, read this. It sounds like you." And I said, "Okay, I'll read it." And this was back in the 70s, and I had no idea that there was a teaching, that there was a centers, that there were churches. I had no idea. I moved out to California and somebody saw the book on my mantle and said, "Oh, do you go to religious science churches?" Like, what are you talking about? I just read a book, and they introduced me actually to the church. I mean, it's really very interesting. That's how I got into a religious science center. But my favorite book other than that is I think it's Up to You. I love that book. I love that book. It's just, it's an amazing read.
It's Up to You by Ernest Holmes. We're going to put that in the show notes too, because a lot of people like to buy it afterwards if they haven't gotten it.
Yeah.
That's why we try to get them to get those other little nuggets and things.
Yeah. It's a gem. It really is. And it's small, doesn't take a lot to read, but there's a lot in it. It's a lot bigger on the inside than it is on the outside, right?
Is that one of those?
Yeah.
So what's the quote that sticks with you? I mean, I'm not going to suggest any, because every time I suggest one, oh yeah, I like that one. No. What's the one that goes for you?
Actually, go to page 282, bottom of the page. Bottom of the page, last paragraph. It continues on 283. Best thing ever. You don't have to read anything else in the textbook, but read that particular paragraph. That was the one. Is if you don't know, if you forget the truth in the hour of need, that proves you don't know the truth. That's the one. Yeah, exactly. This is the one where he says the person who can throw himself untethered into that limitless sea of receptivity, having cast off all apparent moorings, will be the one who will have the most demonstration, right? That's it. Yeah. That's all you need to read. Throw yourself untethered into this teaching, right? Casting off all apparent moorings, you will have the most demonstrations. And he's right.
Wow,
but that's
that is truth too. I Paul and I have talked about this ad nauseum in our earlier shows, saying, well, we put it out there and it happened, and
right.
All right, Paul, what's the next question on the list here?
If you go to Vision CSL, you can look at all Reverend Patti's former talks, and she had given a talk just on that quote. And it blew me away so much I had to do a video on it just because of that.
Wow.
Yeah. It's just amazing. I mean, you can take the whole book and sum it up in that paragraph. That's really what the whole thing is about. Just letting go of everything else and jumping in and just doing it. Just doing it all the time.
Knowing, yeah.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this question. A lot of people, I mean, you taught Paul, so I think you did pretty good here. What, we get people all the time. What's this philosophy about? What is, if there's somebody that shows up to you and says, what is this about? How do you explain this to somebody that doesn't have a clue about what Science of Mind is by Ernest Holmes? Let's add that in. What are your thoughts?
Well, I go back to his 3-line description all the time. There's a power in the universe greater than we are, and we can use it, right? Mm-hmm. And I would add to that, and it can use us, because that's really what it does. It flows through us. But honestly, it is such a universal philosophy of, love God, love each other, do good stuff, do good stuff. I'm so sorry.
The New York came out.
YouTube.
Love God, love each other, do good works. That's what we're talking about. I am so sorry.
Well,
No, authenticity. That's what it's all about.
and in our religion, it's about being human. It's about being yourself, and things happen like that. There are all sorts of words that we use. Dictionary. Remember the dictionary talk, Paul?
Oh yeah. Everybody has
Oh
a
yeah.
favorite.
Yeah. Who wrote the dictionary? What does it mean? Well, it may not mean the same thing to you.
Right.
But that's what's really
Thank you.
nice about Ernest Holmes' writing, because you can go back to it, which I was talking to Reverend Patty earlier in my practitioner training, thinking I had it, and seeing how much I've grown and changed to where I am now without even really seeing it until I look back upon it.
I still have that first Science of Mind textbook, and it's highlighted in every color under the rainbow, because every time you go through it, there's something else that you find spectacular about it. And now it's like it's in green and it's in yellow and it's in orange and it's underlined and it's in pencil and it's just everything, because each time you read it, you go deeper. Each time you read it, something else it draws your attention because you've changed. Book hasn't changed, right?
Mm-mm.
You've changed.
And I love that quote. I forgot where it is in one of his books, but he said, "Our concept of God changes as we change."
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Concepts of everything changes as we changed. I mean, the universe changes around us as we mature and become something other than what we were.
And the universe is changing because of our consciousness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are different levels of prayer. And what I mean by that, let me clarify this because it's like something interesting. The different levels of prayer are, do you you do the 5 steps, I think you said,
Yes.
or do you do the 7 step?
5.
And then Paul said the 9 step one time, which I was.
Yeah, no. 5 is good for me.
So, what is it? What is it? What is it that moves you to do the 5-step prayer? Just the knowing, or that it's released on the declaration part, or
for me, it's the building process. It's like putting it together. You start off with God is all there is, right? So I can spend a while there, just recognizing and being grateful for life itself and for everything that it includes. I mean, you can do a whole a monologue just on God is, and then the God is I am in all of that allness of God. I'm in there too. I'm in that mix somewhere. And then the I know and accept part, which is fabulous, right? This is the meat. This is the affirmation of the whole thing. The reason you're doing it. So for me, that part right there, that build up to the I know and accept is for me the most meditative, the most shifting part, because it gets me out of whatever it was that drew me to prayer to begin with. And it gets me into the truth of, oh yeah, like, everything's fine. I don't even know why I'm praying. Everything's great, kind of thing. But then you do the, I know and accept, you discuss the desire on your heart, the shift that you want to feel, and you feel it. And then it's like, thank you, God,
Awesome.
like, thank you. It is done. Oh yeah, it is definitely done. Okay. So I'm releasing it to the action of the law. Let it go, let it do its work.
Well, we're at the 5, or actually we're at the 4-minute mark now. So
Yeah.
we want to make sure. Paul, did you have some specific questions that we may have missed?
I'm always having questions for Reverend Patty, but we can do that.
Pull a couple out, the ones that just move you, and let's just ask them away, and then we'll ask you to do the final prayer for us,
Sure.
Reverend Patty, at the end, and maybe a couple of minutes here. And go ahead, Paul, ask away.
Are there any takeaways that you would want our audience to know through this conversation?
Yeah, that don't get hung up on the form. Right?
Mm-hmm.
We teach the 5 steps of prayer, but don't get hung up on the form. Did I do it right? Am I doing it right? Is it going to happen? Like it's some sort of a magic elixir, that I need to get the certain amounts of these ingredients. And if I don't, it's not going to work, because it really isn't about that, right? It's not about the form. Although the form gives us structure, it gives my mind structure. God knows the prayer on your heart before it's even a prayer on your lips. God knows it. right? So all we're doing is trying to speak the word of what's on our hearts, but spirit already knows what's on our hearts. So don't get hung up on the form. I mean, so many prayers have been answered by just the holy hell no. Did you ever have just that holy hell no moment where something happens and you go, oh hell no, right? It's like no. And that's the prayer, right?
Yeah.
That's the prayer in itself. That's all there is. And conditions change.
Right. They do
Right?
change.
So sometimes it's never the form. It's always the prayer that's on your heart. But we like the structure because it gives us security. We feel like we know what we're doing. So we use the form and it works. We use the form, but don't get hung up on the form. That would be my advice. And just let the prayer on your heart speak through you.
Oh,
Well, we release it to law, it's done. So it's that we let the law run with it, and God sort of goes, well, let me do this, and here you go, and here's that cherry on top.
and like you said earlier, it's that plunk that okay, that
Yeah.
the prayer's done.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is so good having you here. Thank you so much for saying
This has been wonderful. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, let's go ahead and do the closing. But let's go ahead and plug the site first. You have your Vision CSL, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And that's the site that you can be reached at, and you can
Yeah.
get more information about Reverend Patti on that and all the wonderful things she's doing. I think you said you had some type of prayer circle on Wednesday.
Oh yeah.
If I'm invited, which I think I might be.
Yeah, we have loads of things happening at Vision. We do concerts and we do movies and we do all kinds of things. Yeah, you'd love it there. And Sunday celebration,
Where's it located at again?
San Diego.
Oh, check that out.
Yeah.
That'll be fun. I like.
Oh, it's a great ride. You'd love it. And like I said, we just had Comic-Con, so there was a lot of Comic-Con superheroes showing up at church this weekend. It was great.
What? I like Comic-Con.
Yeah.
So I am Reverend Rich, Prayers Radio, and Paul, where are you at?
I am Reverend Paul at IamSpiritAlive.com. And Reverend Patty's at Vision CSL. Look her up on
That's
YouTube.
Right.
Amazing.
That's right. So go, if you don't mind, would you pray us out?
I would be honored to. That would be lovely.
Thank you.
So I know that spirit right here, right now is just joy. It is happiness. It is love. It is that expansiveness in our hearts. I know that spirit everywhere, fully present, is all good. There is nothing opposed to God. There is nothing opposed to good. And I know and accept that each one of us right here, right now, are immersed in that. And spirit is immersed in us. It is within us. We are within it. There is no separation ever. We are that which thou art. We are the happening of spirit on earth, the arms and legs and the eyes and the ears of spirit. We are the ones that do the work on earth that spirit would see done through us. I give great thanks for this. I know that we go forward with our day in love and in joy, just knowing that we are the good. We are the light of the world and just transforming lives wherever we go. I give great thanks for this. I know this, it's so much more as the truth of our teaching. And I just release this to the action of the law, knowing it is already done through us and as us. I love it. And so it is.
And
so it is.
Amen.
We are Prayers Radio, and we are saying if you don't do a prayer, you haven't got a prayer. So that's a good thing. Everybody say goodbye. We'll see you all next week.
Bye.